Hello, and welcome back to the Lizzabitty channel. I am your host, Lizzabitty. Always remember a few things: like, subscribe, and comment, but not necessarily in that order. Thank you for coming back for another video. And today, on our topic, we are going to do a go back in history. And we're going to talk about my first time setting foot on the continent. And as I progress into this new endeavor in my life, do you think it'll be the same? So here we go. Back in 1999, for the first time in my life, as a fresh graduate, I had just graduated from grad school. Okay? Yes, you do the math and you will see my age. I'm proud of how old I am, and I look damn good. So, I first set foot on the continent in 1999. What was my expectations, my anticipation? I was so nervous about actually going. Like, I had butterflies for days as it neared time for me to fly. I could not seem to get the butterflies under control. I couldn't. And I don't know if it was a part of anxiety as well, over anxiousness, just wondering what Mother Alkebulan looked like. I was so just overall excited, nervous, couldn't sleep, sleeping at like 2 and 3 hour intervals for days up until it was time for me to fly. So I was on US British Airways and flew from Phoenix, Arizona to London Heathrow to South Africa to Malawi, Malawi. Yes, the first country I ever set foot on Mother Alkebulan was Malawi, Africa. So it was interesting. The flight landed on the tarmac, and I had never been to an airport where you didn't have basically like the rolling carts for the actual gates and things. So we actually had the movable stairs, and we deplaned that way. And of course, that was a shock to me. I was not anticipating that at all. So I look around with my colleagues and my surroundings, and I'll tell you what I noticed immediately. I'm not going to say I have real bad allergies. That's not what I'm going to say. But what I noticed immediately was the smell of the air. The air was so crisp and clean. Okay, so you're probably saying to yourself, well, Lizzabitty, you were at an airport. There is no way all the combustion from the planes. Let me tell you something. It was something I had never smelled air like this in my life. And I've been on 6 continents, and I could tell you some stories, okay? Maybe we'll do some story times. I could tell you some stories. So this story time is going to be interesting. So, 1999, Storytime, Malawi. Step off the plane onto the tarmac, and the air. The air was so clean. Oh my God. What else did I notice? All of the people that worked at the airport, they were my people. So, okay, yeah, Bahamas, Jamaica, get it. This was different. The anticipation of this was different. I was still nervous inside, okay? I was super nervous, one, because I didn't know the language, and English is not their official language. It is Chichewa, okay? A little known fact is that most Malawians are Zulus, okay? If you know the history of Zulus and how they are warriors and how they would fight and all of this, and if you turned your back on them, you could never return home. They considered you to be a coward and you'd be killed. So as people begin to migrate, you have them all over. Just a quick little lesson there. But I relished in that. It was so exciting. Even though I had all of these butterflies, even though I was so anxiously awaiting to arrive here, oh my goodness, listen. Oh, that's how I felt, like a sigh of relief. Okay, I'm finally here. So as we collect our luggage from the conveyor belts in the airport, which was a very small airport, okay? It was a small airport, and we were waiting for our transport that was waiting to pick us up after we, of course, go through customs and all of the security, etc., etc. We get in the car, we load in, actually a van, and we're driving to make our way to our lodging. And the entire time I am just, and my colleagues want to talk. I'm sitting here like, I don't want to talk. I didn't want to talk. You know why? Because I'm trying to take in everything that is surrounding me. Because I was journaling heavy back then. Journaling heavy, okay? So I am trying to sit and intake everything that I possibly can, and yet it's people around me who want to be chit-chatters. I don't want to talk to you. We can talk later. We've been talking on the airplane, etc. I'm busy. I'm absorbing culture, the scenery, everything. So I'm noticing these beautiful outfits that the ladies are wearing. I'm saying to myself, well, why did I even bring clothes with me? I can get a whole wardrobe made right here. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the street vendors. I mean, I am just taking it all in, okay? Before we get to our lodging, we stopped at like a little store to get like some snacks and stuff. So this was my first, outside of my driver, okay? Outside of my driver. I don't want to say, okay, my first encounter with a Malawi, no. I encountered them, of course, in the airport, and of course, my driver. This was different. My first encounter in terms of buying something, okay? In the little shop, if that's what you want to call it. And the experience was enlightening. The lady was very cordial. She knew that my chichewa was limited, and I really, I had this Malawian kwacha. It was called kwacha. Their money was called kwacha in my hand, and I'm trying to make sure I give her enough money for what I'm buying. And she says, "You're new here, and you're American. Welcome. We are the warm heart of Africa." Yes. Geeked and stoic. So, that's how my encounter went. As time progressed on, I met some wonderful Malawians who overall were just good down home people. Down home for me as a southerner of the U.S. reminded me of how people just accept you into their homes. They're going to feed you. They're going to offer you something to drink. Just amenable. If you come over there and say that you're not feeling well, they're ready to give you some meds. Everything that you could possibly imagine. Yes, this is how the warm heart of Africa welcomed me. And I was so open to it. I was young. I was vibrant. My mind, everything about me was just, I had the zest of everything in me to make this journey what I wanted it to be. And so yes, it was not in terms of the scenery. It was not the United States. I already reconciled that here. That was already reconciled in my mind. I was no longer worried about that, okay? Of how this place did not look like the United States or look like the United Kingdom. I had already relegated that was not going to be my experience. Although some colleagues of mine had a different experience, okay? I'm not. So we made a pact, so I won't be telling their side of their story, okay? We ended up making a pact with each other about things. So anyway, my life there gave me something the United States could never give me. Ooh, I'm feeling teary-eyed. Sorry. My life there gave me something I could never have gotten at home. A different sense of community and a love of blackness. Like, I had colleagues in other places on the continent that were talking about, different things in terms of people not liking their skin color and all this colorism stuff or whatever. That was not my testimony. Man, Malawians opened themselves up to me wholeheartedly. I loved it. It gave me a sense of black pride like I've never known. Even though I've always been prideful, I've always been militant and just loving about who I am as a black woman, as a person of melanated descent. Malawi gave me something different, wholeheartedly. So yeah, that's my story time of setting my foot on Mother Alkebulan for the first time. Now, if you like the story times, trust me, I have a lot of them for being all over the continent with different stories. So if that's something that you would like to hear, please drop down in the comments. Leave me a note. Ask me some different questions, or you have my email, onelizzabitty@gmail.com, and I will answer and make some videos that you may think are unique, to say the least, okay? I'll talk about everything. So, thank you for enjoying this story time, and please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, but not necessarily in that order. Have a good one.